Hi, my name is Erin Hall, and this is my journey of discovery and learning throughout ECS 210. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that the land in which my learning took place is on Treaty 4 land, the traditional territory of the Cree, Métis, and Assiniboine. At the beginning of our ECS 210 class, we were asked what we believed the curriculum was. I simply thought it was a document that stated what teachers were required to teach and what students needed to learn. I looked at it as a guideline that was solely made up by the government that was then handed down to the teachers. I thought the government regulated and created the whole thing, especially when it came to subjects such as social studies and history. So now I realize that the curriculum is derived by a collaboration of individuals, including teachers, school boards, theorists and textbook authors, the government, and communities alike. I was thrilled to find out that teachers do have a say in the curriculum, but I believed it would be beneficial to also include the views of the students, as they are the ones who need to learn all the material. It is their education, so shouldn't they have a say? Curriculum has evolved over time through education as product, education as process, and education as praxis. I can see how the Tyler rationale made teaching easier, but it simply focused on education as a product, judging students solely on the end result rather than observing and acknowledging their learning processes as a whole. In my own classroom, I will view education through process and praxis. I'm a progressivist and a social reconstructivist, and I hope to learn alongside my students as their facilitator, not their lecturer. My classroom will be inclusive, anti-bias, and will attempt to challenge the status quo while using critical thinking and exploration. Comanchero has taught me to rethink the idea of common sense, as my students may have come from diverse backgrounds and cultures. We will share our ideas and plant our seeds of knowledge together. I will challenge the idea of a good student as defined by common sense. I personally believe a good student is someone who shows up and is eager to learn, all while trying their best. Every student will have their own unique strengths and difficulties, and they shouldn't be labeled as bad if they are having a hard time learning the given material. Our students won't wake up and get excited to go to school and cause disruptions or act out. They do these things because they are trying to communicate that they need more guidance or a different structure or a surrounding to learn it. We as teachers need to recognize this behavior and try not to compare it to the common sense definition of a good student, but accommodate our teaching style into a method in which the students will be able to comprehend. I will recognize the dangers of single stories and challenge them alongside my students to develop an anti-bias, anti-oppressive classroom and education system. Growing up in a small town in northern Manitoba, I never learned about treaties or what they entailed. It wasn't until university that I learned about residential schools or really got into the history of colonization. I believe that it is extremely important to include treaty education in all classrooms, no matter the students' ages or cultural backgrounds. We as teachers are very influential towards our students, and it is important to set a positive example on how to be inclusive of all individuals from all walks of life. It is so important to teach our students how to put a value on the act of respect for others and the environment. At first, I found the idea of curriculum intimidating and stressful. I felt as if I would have to follow the rules and teach my students to achieve certain products. Though over time, I have learned that education is a process which can be adapted for every unique individual, and each step of learning is meant to be a celebration. I can't wait to take my knowledge of the curriculum into my own classrooms and help support my students in their own discovery and learning journeys.
Created using Powtoon.